फास्टेस्ट क्रिकेट स्कोर अपडेट्स या सबसे डिटेल्ड स्टैट्स,
क्रिकेट के अंदर बाहर की खबरें
या हेल्दी डिबेट्स,
सबसे एक्यूरेट एनालिसिस
या फैंस का क्रेज, सबके लिए एक ही प्लेटफॉर्म, क्योंकि क्रिकेट मतलब क्रिकेट नेक्स्ट।
Hello and welcome to Cricket Next. मैं हूं सौम्य कपूर and England have started the proceedings in the second innings at a very brisk pace, 89 for 1 after lunch और 101 रन से ट्रेल कर रहे हैं। इंडिया took a good mammoth lead लेकिन स्ट्रेच नहीं कर पाए, जल्दी विकेट्स खो दी तीनों और ऑल आउट हो गए थे फर्स्ट इनिंग्स में एट अ स्कोर ऑफ 436। लेकिन उसके बाद जिस तरीके से इंग्लैंड ने सेकंड इनिंग्स को स्टार्ट करा, एक विकेट जरूर गवा दिया, बट दे आर ऑन अ रोल राइट नाउ। वेल, टू टॉक मोर अबाउट दिस आई हैव विद मी कनव वाले, विनीत रामाकृष्णन एंड सुरम्य कौशिक इन जॉइनिंग इन लाइव सेशन। विनीत, कैसा माहौल है ये? क्या कितना फर्स्ट सेशन जो कितना एंटरटेनिंग रहा है उसके बारे में बताइए, बिकॉज यू वाचिंग इट फ्रॉम वेरी क्लोज क्वार्टर्स।
यार एंटरटेनिंग तो खूब रहा है, बट the thing is India did not bowl that well. This was probably the start that England did in the first innings as well. Second innings maybe similar start, but the thing was India's bowling was not the greatest in terms कि bend अगर आपको reverse sweep मार रहे हैं, rather than trying to bowl that wicket to wicket stump, there was a lot of deliveries that were on the false stump, just wide of the wicket, and that is the reason why Duckett वो sweep भी इतने confidently मार रहे थे. He knew that even if he misses that reverse sweep, it's not LBW is not going to come into play or wicket नहीं जाएगा. So that was the thing. But again, positive start for England, and this is probably the first session they have won outright. After taking those 3 wickets, wrapping up India in the first 1 hour of play, and then coming out with a positive intent. Zach Crawley has been one of the best test players in the last 1 year. Showed why he is, showed intention, got off to a start. Duckett भी उस हिसाब से उन्होंने शुरू किया. Oli Pope was looking very tentative in the first innings. यहाँ भी थोड़ा सा jittery से थे, but he still got those. But the fact of the matter is, England, even if they are still behind the 8 ball, they are not going down without a fight, and that is the reason why there's been this slight comeback. I'm just was going through a thumbnail header you had written. Can England make a comeback here? They've started well with the comeback, but there's still a lot of play left in the day. A lot of deficit runs to overcome. 101 अभी भी है काफी. It's still a decent amount of run. We'll have to put up a score as well as a target, but it's a good start. And India should have bowled better. What I felt, a bit of criticism on Rohit Sharma's captaincy as well, went defensive quite early. He should have had that leg slip or forward shot का फायदा, leg slip रख लेते, थोड़ा बहुत attacking कर लेते, तो maybe the pressure would have been there. Once Duckett started scoring, वो आपने field spread कर लिया था, might as well have done it यार. 190 का आपके पास lead था, थोड़ा हल्का सा और attacking हो सकते थे.
That's why we don't have ICC trophies, because of this defensive technique, defensive mind setup. When I just don't want to go there. But Vineet, I just want to ask you, it was more about India's bad bowling, or it was about the employment of the reverse sweep by both the batters, all the three rather.
A mix of three. First and foremost would be the unorthodox way that England went about their batting. उससे हुआ क्या, थोड़ा game plan इंडिया का change हुआ. If you remember, Ashwin started off with around the wicket, then he went over the wicket. जैसे over the wicket आए, Zach Crawley ने 2 अच्छे से drive मारे. Then again he came back around the wicket. वो angle पकड़ा उन्होंने और Zach Crawley का wicket मिल गया. I think if he had stuck to that, around the wicket line slightly more, maybe Duckett would not have been able to. Crawley would not have been able to score those runs. Even Axar Patel, for that matter, Axar Patel also, I felt both Axar Patel and Ravindra Jadeja, I felt were bowling too fast. I mean, हल्का सा थोड़ा slow कर लेते, थोड़ा सा loop लेकर आ जाते. Also, it was baffling to see why Axar Patel came on to bowl before Ravindra Jadeja. Not that would have made much of a difference, I would feel, but Jadeja would have been a better choice, I felt, because he's somebody, from an Axar's point of view, he's slightly better at changing varying his pace. Axar's थोड़ा सा predictable रह जाता है. 5 overs, 40 runs, you could see that. I mean, वो एक sense मिल गया था Duckett को कि what Axar is trying to do. And again, fact of the matter is, थोड़ा सा tightly line to line अगर bowling करते, would have been better. I also felt they started with Bumrah for the 2 overs, and I also felt अगर सिराज को भी एक दो ओवर दे देते just and tell him to bowl at the stumps. That's about it. Just stumps to stump line डाल के रख लेते maybe because variable bounce है. तो
Yeah.
मे बी कोई ऑड बॉल रह जाता नीचे, शायद
Yeah,
अंदर
yeah.
आ जाता.
एक
सिराज की बॉल अंदर आती भी है. And when your batters are trying to go for runs, as both Duckett, Zach Crawley, and Oli Pope were, there would have been a chance where Siraj could have got a wicket. He could have gone for runs also. I mean, that was a
yeah.
gamble that you could have taken. But I think Siraj से एक दो ओवर करा सकते थे. I'm
But
pretty sure when the start of the second session सिराज से बॉलिंग होगी, सिराज को 2-3 ओवर दिए जाएंगे और बोला जाएगा कि यार स्टंप टू स्टंप रखो. देन लेट्स सी व्हाट हैपेंस.
ओवर ऑलमोस्ट अगर आपके पास 200 रन का लीड है तो आप वो रिस्क ले सकते हो यार, 2-3 ओवर का क्या ही
एग्जैक्टली नहीं, वो रिस्क आप ले सकते हो. आई मीन जस्ट अबाउट कि हाँ कुछ आप कर सकते थे यहाँ पे with सिराज देयर बिकॉज यू स्टार्ट ऑफ विद बुमराह एंड देन अश्विन. सिराज के पास कुछ करने के लिए है नहीं. Might as well have tried it when you were the moment Jack Crawley got out, could have brought in a Siraj just to test the waters with Oli Pope.
Yeah, true. Okay, Kana, what do you make of the start that England have, employed right now in the second innings? 89 for 1, quick fire 89.
Yeah, I mean, they are getting themselves into a position from where they can think of making a comeback. We can't just say that they are making a comeback. एक ऐसी position में खुद को धीरे धीरे वो ला रहे हैं because of their run rate, the way they are scoring, and this is the typical way of typical England way of scoring runs. जो तेजी से वो run मारते हैं, and they don't care. They play reverse sweeps, they play their sweeps, their sixes. तो वो दिख रहा है, लेकिन this is my confusion, Vineet. इज इट द इंडियन बॉलिंग या पिच बैटिंग के लिए काफी इजी हो गई है? मुझे नहीं समझ आ रहा कि पिच क्या डिटेरिएट हो रही है, लेकिन इंडिया ने बॉलिंग अच्छी नहीं करी या पिच धीरे धीरे सूटेबल हो रही है बैटिंग में.
No, I'll come to
I'm
the
not.
pitch.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Afterwards, but again, Vineet, मैं इसी पे आने वाला था. पिच डिटेरिएट से ज्यादा आई जस्ट फील देयर इज अ वेरिएबल बाउंस. जैसे इंडिया के जो तीनों बैट्समैन आउट हुए, वो कहीं ना कहीं एक दो बॉल्स नीचे रह रही है. तो वहां पे शायद सिराज को लगाना, आई गेस व्हाट यू वर मेकिंग अ पॉइंट, वो सही है. व्हाट डू यू हैव टू
नहीं, बिल्कुल पिच के हिसाब से देखो, डिटोरिएशन इन टर्म्स ऑफ यू हैव टू लुक एट दिस पिच. इट्स अ स्लो विकेट, राइट? सो इवन इफ लेट्स से द बॉल स्पिन्स, आपने थोड़ा सा स्लो कराया, द बॉल आफ्टर लैंडिंग टर्न होता भी है. इट्स इजियर फॉर अ बैट्समैन टू एडजस्ट टू दैट स्पिन. एविडेंट विद दैट बेन डकेट ने एक बैकफुट पे जाके अक्सर को पंच मारा था, बिकॉज ही वाज एबल टू एडजस्ट. स्पिन हुई थी वो बॉल, लेकिन बिकॉज द स्लो नेचर ऑफ द ट्रैक वो आराम से खेल गए थे. अब डिटोरिएशन अनलाइक एन इंडोर, अनलाइक एन अहमदाबाद जैसा हमने बॉर्डर गावस्कर ट्रॉफी में देखा, उतना डिटोरिएट नहीं हो रहा. दिस इज एक्चुअली अ वेरी गुड विकेट. इट्स नॉट, आई वुडंट टर्म इट एज अ स्पिनिंग ट्रैक. इट्स अ गुड ट्रैक. स्लो है ये, मोर देन डिटोरिएशन और मोर देन ब्रेकिंग इट अप. It's a slow wicket, but there is merit in bowling in these kind of wickets. जो रूप ने bowling कराई थी, लूप डाल रहे थे, जहां वो सीन पे पड़ा, बॉल कहीं इधर जा रहा, कभी उधर जा रहा है. Ashwin tried that. That's what I'm telling you कि Ashwin भी, I think there was one over where he was bowling at 90 k throughout. 90 kilometers per hour. Yes, of course. 90 kilometers per hour में bowling करे जा रहे थे वो. He could have slowed it down. Again, there was one delivery he bowled at 77, थोड़ा loopy. Ben Duckett ने हालांकि उसको reverse sweep मारा, थोड़ा full हो गया था, full toss चली गई थी. But that kind of a delivery, हल्का सा length थोड़ा पीछे करके आप खेलोगे, it would put batsmen in double mind. Talking about the variable bounce, of course, एक delivery था Oli Pope का ही था मेरे ख्याल से. It was Jadeja और Axar, I'm not remembering. I think it was Axar की बिल्कुल नीचे रह गई थी. So there is good merit in bringing in somebody like a Siraj whose space से अगर वो variable bounce नीचे रह जाता है, it'll be very difficult to handle that. But to answer Kanav's question in terms of यार bowling की या pitch better हो गया, pitch definitely has not gotten better. England have applied themselves better, and India's bowling in comparison to the first innings has not been the greatest in terms of the spinners.
Okay, Vinny, just out of curiosity, do you think इस कंडीशन में जिस तरीके की पिच हो गई है इस टाइम पे, देयर इज अ वेरिएबल बाउंस, एक दो अंदर आ रही है, डू यू थिंक कुलदीप यादव कुड हैव बीन मोर इफेक्टिव इन दिस कंडीशन?
I mean, it's about ifs and buts, right? मेरे को ये नहीं लगा कि कुलदीप यादव would have been effective in the sense. The reason why maybe Kuldeep Yadav did not play this game, I'll tell you the reason why. What I think is, Rihan Ahmed का आपने देखा, he was getting the ball to turn, but because He's a leg spinner. His pace won't be as high as probably a left arm orthodox bowler. It will be easier to play. यहाँ पे मेरे को वही लग रहा है कि they would have thought कि यार कुलदीप स्पिन तो कराएगा ही कराएगा, but you go on the back foot and it will be probably easier to play. कुलदीप यादव बिल्कुल वो सुर्रे वाली डिलीवरीज नहीं डालते हैं, तो थोड़ा लूप ही डालते हैं. Probably this is the reason. I may be wrong. That could be the reason. But to answer your question, would have been he been effective? Look, he's a world class bowler. Of course, he would have been effective. But it's a case of ifs and buts यार. अगर पता ही अगर खेलते तो हमें पता लगता, नहीं खेलाते ही है तो पता नहीं.
क्या बॉलिंग से इफेक्टिव होते, क्या तेज फेंकते या लूपी फेंकते, अगर ये वाले डिस्कशंस विनीत टीम मैनेजमेंट में हो रहे होते ना, तो एज आई सेड हमारे पास 2 ट्रॉफी होती.
डेफिनेटली नहीं कि ये डिस्कशंस हुए तो होंगे ही होंगे, ऐसा नहीं कि नहीं हुए होंगे, बट इट्स
extra batter. It is always about an extra batter. You believe that?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल इट्स ऑलवेज अबाउट द एक्स्ट्रा बैटर. और देखो यार, जडेजा के लिए 80 मारे, अक्षर पटेल एंडेड अप स्कोरिंग मोर देन एंड श्रेयस अय्यर मोर देन योर शुभमन गिल, राइट? 400 बन गए, लेकिन बदौलत रविंद्र जडेजा के बदले ही वो लीड 190 तक एक्सटेंड हुआ. केएल राहुल पेड वेरी गुड नॉक, बट द लीड जो एक्सटेंड हुआ उस फाइनल पार्टनरशिप की वजह से ही हुआ.
Signaling that Axar should bat at 3.
I'm not saying that at all, but that's how it is. I mean, it's a discussion that we had last night, right? Everybody just threw their wickets away. Axar की नौबत ही नहीं चाहिए थी बैटिंग करने की, but that's how it is. And as you rightly pointed out, it's all about padding up with that extra batter. And there is some kind of merit because we did not have Virat Kohli, a rock solid number 4 batter. So that way you could say इस game में Axar merited a place because he edges out Kuldeep Yadav in terms of his batting.
Okay, on that note, let's welcome Suramya Kaushik as well. Suramya, how have you been? और हम डिस्कशन कर रहे थे क्या इस पिच पे जिस तरीके से ट्रैक खेल रहा है कुलदीप यादव इफेक्टिव हो सकते थे, अक्षर पटेल की क्या जरूरत नहीं थी वहां से विद बॉल, क्या हम कुलदीप को ला सकते थे?
Well, I was just listening to Vineet, and Vineet rightly mentioned, there'll always be ifs and buts, and we can go round and round with all those discussions. But, right now we know what kind of playing 11 we have. We know what we have with us. So, it's better for us to stick to that. Otherwise, we can always be going with that.
Then the discussion will be boring, no? Then the discussion will be boring, na?
No, but I completely agree with what Vineet said, right? That आप बार-बार जा सकते हैं, and I also heard you saying कि अगर ये discussions management में हो रहे होते तो आज हमारे पास 2 trophies होती. But right now what I feel is क्योंकि जब विनीत बात कर रहे थे, उन्होंने जिस तरीके से बताया कि अश्विन और अक्षर ने जिस तरह से अभी bowling करी है पहले सेशन में, and जडेजा को आप पहले लेकर आ सकते थे. Yes, that could have been one thing that I felt because I wasn't expecting Axar Patel before Jadeja. That's just one thing that I felt. Otherwise, it's been England's session. Obviously, when you take 3 wickets, giving just 15 runs, and then you score 89 runs, it's obviously your session. So just that. Other than that, I don't think so that I missed anything in the first session and so far till day 3.
Honestly, I am not that surprised, Axar coming ahead of Ravindra Jadeja bowling because, he has that a bit of a loop. He can flight that in a better way in comparison to Jadeja, which जो एक merit देता है कि कहीं ना कहीं शायद बॉल एक आधे डिप करके can hit the pads or hit the stumps. But again, he was bowling
that Bairstow wicket was an example of that.
Exactly. So, लेकिन वो इतना तो लूप हो रहा है कि वो फुल टॉस में कन्वर्ट कर रहे हैं and they're employing the reverse sweep really well. Okay, can I have the comments please because I'm getting some good comments here. Okay, now I'll start with you. Sports fan is saying also is field too defensive by Rohit or batters have forced Rohit to do so. या 13 ओवर में फोर्स कर दिया तो फिर घर चले जाओ. Then what do you have to say?
बैटर्स विल प्ले देयर शॉट्स और ये वही है जो हम कल बात कर रहे थे द काइंड ऑफ शॉट्स दे प्ले इट्स अ डबल एज स्वॉर्ड. तो आपको वहीं पे अटैकिंग फील्ड रखनी है. आपको हर शॉट के हिसाब से अगर आप फील्ड चेंज करने लगे पैनिक में आके पैनिक बटन अगर आपका दब गया कि वो क्योंकि बाउंड्रीज आ रही है तो आप फील्डर्स पीछे ले जाए और जो वो अटैकिंग फील्ड होती है उसको थोड़ा खोल दे. तो वो बैटर्स चाहते ही वो है एक उनका रीजन ये शॉट्स मारने का ये होता है कि फील्ड थोड़ी खुल जाए और जो रनिंग बिटवीन द विकेट्स है वो भी रिलेटिवली थोड़ी और इजी हो जाए. तो वहां पे एज अ कैप्टन आपको पैनिक बटन नहीं दबाना, आपको अटैकिंग फील्ड रखनी है. और रोहित आई हैव बीन सेइंग कि ही नेचुरली नॉट दैट अटैकिंग एज अ कैप्टन. टेस्ट क्रिकेट में मैंने उनको इतना नहीं देखा है कि वो वो अटैकिंग फील्ड प्लेसमेंट्स कर कर जो क्विक चेंजेस होते हैं वो करें. बट yeah, I do believe there's a bit defensive field, but then again, England, as Vineet said, they have applied themselves really, really well, and the credit goes to them. ये उन्होंने जिस तरीके से फील्ड को खेला है, बॉल को खेला है और मेरिट पे खेला है बॉल को. सो आई जस्ट होप दैट रोहित डजंट पैनिक एज ए कैप्टन, क्योंकि अभी 101 रन की लीड रह गई है. अगर बिना कोई विकेट गिरे ये 60 तक आ जाती है, देन 50 तक आ जाती है, देन आई जस्ट होप कि वो पैनिक ना कर जाए, क्योंकि लीड कम हो रही है, 9 विकेट अभी भी हाथ में है, तो मैच उनको लगे कि अब कहीं वापस कम बैक ना हो जाए. तो एज ए कैप्टन उनको वही अटैकिंग फील्ड मेंटेन करनी है, क्योंकि विकेट्स अपने आप आएंगी. वो गलतियां, वो डबल एज स्वॉर्ड है, गलतियां आएंगी उनकी तरफ से. बस उन गलतियों के लिए आपको रेडी रहना है एज ए टीम.
True. Next one, please. The sports fan is saying, what do you make of Jadeja's dismissal? Did ball touch the bat first? Vineet, what do you have to say? It's a bit of a
No,
controversial.
not really. Not really. No controversy at all. It was pad first, of course. But I'll have to tell you, Jadeja, the kind of game that he was playing today, he was playing for his 100, became a bit timid. That was probably what led to that kind of dismissal, and that is the reason why India were folded for. I mean, he should not have done that. He was clearly playing for his 100 and deserved. ऐसा नहीं है कि नहीं खेलना चाहिए. आप थोड़ा खेल सकते हैं, but he became a bit timid. Allowed Joe Root to settle in, and उसके बाद आपने देखा Joe Root ने जिस तरीके से बुमराह का भी विकेट लिया, and there was a proper rhythm there. Axar Patel on the other hand looked to get some runs lead. जैसे ही आया 2 चौके मारे. Jadeja did not show that intent. That is what I felt, the same intent that he had showed the previous day. That's one criticism that I would say. But again, for the dismissal, it's no brainer. Yeah, it was bad first.
Okay. Next one, please. Do you think England players are able to play more comfortably? Pitch is not giving as much assistance it did on day one to Indian spinners. Ramya.
I think we have already discussed this because I was listening to Vineet. Vineet already answered this question. So, but just reiterating from what Vineet mentioned earlier, it's been about how England have approached this session. It's more about their approach. It's more about how they have come up to play against the Indian spinners. We were just talking about the way they have changed their play. We were talking about the sweeps and the reverse sweeps by which which they have got runs. So that has been more about the approach. And I think about the pitch, Vineet already mentioned it's not that pitch has been a bit better as compared to the first and second day. It's more or less the same, but it's more about how England batters have approached.
Yeah.
And with that, I do have a question for Vineet because I think I missed that part, and I'll ask this in extension to what I'm just talking about, the sweeps and reverse sweeps. Vineet, we saw like 18 sweeps and reverse sweeps in this session, and that got us around 23 runs seen on board, right? So, do you think is this even a sustainable approach to take on spinners for the rest of the
From
day?
England. From England,
England's
you are saying.
perspective,
Look,
yeah.
it was a hazardous approach, is what I would say. But the fact of the matter is, Ben Duckett ने जो 2-3 sweep मारे, he still Rohit still had a deep point, and Ben Duckett managed to hit 2 sweeps in front of square. That shows that he has a gumption that he can hit that sweep really well, and he timed that sweep really well. Is that the approach England or probably Ben Duckett is going to take going forward? If it is working out for him, it has worked out for him as of now. He will continue doing that. But in this lineup, probably a Zach Crawley and Ben Duckett is probably one of the better players of the reverse sweep. So you're going to see that from Ben Duckett, not so much from Joe Root sweep, conventional sweep of course, but not much reverse sweep. Not from others also. Ben Stokes, Johnny Basso, they don't sweep that much. They are more towards muscular, playing in the V kind of players. But of course, Ben Duckett, it has worked for him. He'll continue doing that. But therein lies India's chance as well. As I said, be a bit smarter, bit slower, maybe, and there might be a top edge. There might be Duckett missing one. For that, you have to bowl that wicket to wicket stump. Pandey bowling at the 4th stump line. Then the reason why Duckett was looking for that reverse sweep was he knew even if it had missed, if he misses, it'll probably be going to Shrikar Bharat's gloves or missing the stump. Like LBW was out of the equation. So they have to be a bit more straighter, and then probably Ben Duckett would think twice before employing the reverse sweep. One other example was the moment Axar Patel changed and came over the wicket. Ben Duckett employed that conventional sweep because
Yeah.
he was angling in. There was no way that Ben Duckett was going to go for the reverse sweep. So there's a chance. I mean, it's a high risk, high
High risk.
reward shot. Uh,
Yeah.
there is always a chance, but if Ben Duckett, the way he played the first session, there is no way that he should not be trying it again.
But isn't that what England are known for, Vineet? They always come with some out of the box plans. Like nobody might have expected that they'll be playing so many sweeps and reverse sweeps, and that's how they came up in the first session.
No, I guess
No,
they
no.
have.
On the contrary, this is what is
Yeah.
expected of them. I mean, you talked about baseball, cricket. Baseball, यही होता है, taking on the bowlers in an unconventional,
Remember the last.
unorthodox manner, and this is what they've been doing here. This is what in the first innings also. This is what they tried doing. So it's
Vineet,
not something they've come up as a surprise. Expected line spare.
if you remember the last over as well, Joe Root was successful in because of the sweeping and everything.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
He swept his way to that 218 in
Yeah.
Chennai, if I'm not wrong. Most of the
Not,
innings, I think. So expected lines are. This is nothing out of the ordinary. It's unconventional. You knew this is what England are going to do. First innings पे वो नहीं चले. This time, second innings पे वो चल रहा है. India knew it.
Exactly.
Again,
That's the
it
difference.
comes down to the field placements. You have to be a bit more braver in terms of your field placement. Is what I feel. Rohit Sharma became a bit too defensive too early.
Yeah, okay.
Also, I think England doesn't trust their straight bat shots and playing in the V on spinning pitches. They are always a little skeptical of the edges or the
No,
LBW,
up
and
straight
that's the
bat.
reason.
I'll tell you the reason. I tell you the reason why they are not
That,
judging
that
their not going for their straight bat is that because of the variable bounce भी है यार वो भी देखो और अब straight bat अब लेकर आओगे तो you are in a way bringing in that spin factor into into the play as well that there's more chance of missing अंदर चले गया ये हो गया नीचे रह गया अब across the line में भी है वो risk है but then again if the ball is slightly fuller you're better off I mean for these players you're better off striking it towards the square and getting runs and getting those easy singles or boundaries that's what I feel.
yeah, I have a very interesting comment here from Jason. App. चले तो चांद तक बंदा शाम तक.
England's philosophy.
That in essence is what baseball is, right? This is what baseball is. Actually,
That's
this is
what we
what
said now,
baseball
Vinny,
is.
that it didn't work out on day one. It's working today. So everybody's just enjoying it and everybody's saying, oh, that's how
Exactly.
you play baseball.
We
So
need quickly
Right.
what India needs to do now. Like whom should they employ? Siraj and Jadeja in tandem?
I would say you start off with Jadeja, attack the stumps, bring in the stumps into action. Jadeja is also again will attack the stumps. It is about attacking the stumps.
I guess there's some network issue with the Vineet. So, Ramya, what are your thoughts?
no, I agree. Jadeja,
Sir,
I
I
really want
think
to see. Yeah, Vinny's there.
Am I back? Yeah, I'm saying you bring in the field better. अंदर लेकर आओ, सिराज से bowling कराओ, bring in the wickets into play with Jadeja and Siraj and see how England players respond. That's I think should be what Rohit Sharma should be thinking at least in the first hour of second session.
Yeah. So, Ramya, continue.
Yeah, I really want to see Jadeja bowl because that's where I think we can get wickets. And right now, India really need wickets because if England go
I
on
think
with
he'll
this,
bowl. I think he'll bowl. He started off his spell with that 1 over before lunch. So I think he'll be there.
so he must continue, and that's a must that I feel. So Jadeja should be there for
Okay,
sure.
Kanaf.
Yeah, I believe Jadeja and Axar should bowl in tandem. They are two right-handers on the crease, and both of them are known to spin it away from the batters. And them bowling in tandem would be something that can lead to a wicket early on in this session.
Okay. I just want Siraj to come into bowl and treat every batter like Ollie Robinson. Just do that. Just and get them dismissed. Okay.
So that's an interesting one.
One thing Stokes must have learned when he started with the Hartley on day one, he would not have expected Root would turn out to be England's best spinner. Boss, Root has a fifer in India, 8 for 5.
I have a feeling Stokes would have known that Root is going to be my best spinner here. I don't
And
know why.
we need to explain it
That
yesterday.
realization would have struck him on day two, not day one.
Yeah,
Exactly. And Vineet
But
explained
then also,
why.
what about day two, na Vineet? Root got that one big wicket of Jaiswal, and after that, Bhati was brought in. So I don't.
Four
Sorry,
overs. 4 overs it was root bowled.
exactly. Jack Leach was brought in. So I don't think so that Stokes got to think of the whole thing कि भाई Root will be my best spinner. मुझे लगता है अब खत्म होने के बाद उन्हें realize हुआ होगा कि अरे यार ये भी तो हम कर सकते थे.
Chalo, the second session is starting, so let's go back and enjoy the action. Vineet will connect with you again. Well, thank you so much everyone for joining this session. Bye bye.
फास्टेस्ट क्रिकेट स्कोर अपडेट्स या सबसे डिटेल्ड स्टैट्स
क्रिकेट के अंदर बाहर की खबरें
या हेल्दी डिबेट्स
सबसे एक्यूरेट एनालिसिस
या फैंस का क्रेज, सबके लिए एक ही प्लेटफॉर्म, क्योंकि क्रिकेट मतलब क्रिकेट नेक्स्ट।